Welcome, Sven, and thanks very much for joining us here at Realty in Brussels.
Welcome.
Leasinvest operates across a number of different areas. Can you just give me a brief sort of overview?
Yeah. So Leasinvest is a listed stock exchange real estate investor in Belgium, but the major part of our portfolio is situated in Luxembourg, then Belgium, and we recently acquired some buildings in Switzerland.
And do you see good potential growth in those markets?
Well, when we came into Luxembourg in 2008, it was a bit of uncharted territory for investors, for foreign investors. Of course, now things have changed, and it's a very hot market. So we're still looking to grow in that market. We're actually the largest investor in Luxembourg, but it's getting harder and harder to find very good opportunities.
And in terms of your sort of style of management, how would you describe that?
We have an active style of management. We try to look for added value in our existing portfolio, as well as in the projects that we're looking to acquire. We're kind of an opportunistic fund. We have a strategy which is mainly focused on retail, but we don't let that keep us back from looking at what we might think are interesting opportunities.
You mentioned active management, so how important for you is really knowing these markets in depth and sort of local expertise?
Of course, it's very important. The markets, for instance, in Belgium and Luxembourg that we know very well are completely different. Belgium is a very harder market at the time. There's definitely a crisis, certainly in the office sector. So it's a market where you need to be much more proactive and adding services to the basic offer that you offer to your tenants. Whilst in Luxembourg, the economy is still doing very well, and you can see that in prices that are still at a very good level, and where still some potential for growth. While in Belgium, the prices have not developed as they should have.
What's the outlook, do you think, particularly for the Brussels office market? Do you see additional value from that particular sector?
Well, the Brussels market has had an issue with an overstock for quite a while. And luckily there has been now a movement of office buildings being transformed in residential buildings. It's not something that Leasinvest does, but it does keep the number of free square meters now under control. But what we do notice is that although demand is quite low, but the demand goes to qualitative buildings with extra services and extra functionality. So that is one of the reasons we acquired the Royal Depot here at Turin Taxi. It's nearly 100 years old, and it's been reconverted in offices, but there are also shops, there are also restaurants, and there are multi-services that are being offered to the tenants. And building has a considerable size as well, so it's more like a business community. It's more like an urban community even than an office building in itself. And that is, I think, one of the opportunities for the future.
Is that one of the particular aims of the business in terms of, I guess again, looking at long-term redevelopment, repositioning?
We take an active approach in our portfolio, which means that we are looking inside our portfolio where the possibilities are to redevelop after a building has matured. And because at the moment there are not a lot of big tenants on the market looking for lots of square meters. For instance, we redeveloped one of our office buildings in Brussels, a 15,000 square meters building, the Crescent, to a huge business center, a green business community, where we also offer multiple services to our tenants and can offer also a wide variety in offices ranging from one person's desk to 2 or 3,000 square meters of offices where we take charge of all the services. And we have to say that it has been quite a project, but now the building is full. So I think we can say it's a very successful reconversion project.
And you're obviously operating in a part of the market where you've really got to have a long-term view and a long-term commitment to turning around those assets or redeveloping. How does that work in terms of your capital? Do you have patient shareholders that enable that to happen?
Yes, well, we are very lucky to have very stable and solid shareholders. Our main shareholders are Akkermans and Van Haren and AXA. They're really professionals and they know that the line of business that we're in takes patience and takes a decent strategy and a long-term view. And we're very lucky to have them to support us in that strategy.
And in terms of data, transparency, how important is that for you in terms of, I guess, both managing the business but also delivering returns?
Well, obviously, the geographical delocalization that we have offers a challenge to us to have transparency and consolidation of our figures. With extra difficulties, as for instance operating in the Swiss market is in another currency than in Belgium or Luxembourg. So we need a tool that provides us the insight and the real-time access to the data that we have on our different sites. We cannot afford to go to all the sites physically and have live meetings all the time. So we need a robust system that not only functions on site and does the day-to-day operations as it should, but that also offers a global overview and helps us overview our KPIs, for instance.
And this is obviously quite an important part of managing the business. So I guess what made you choose Yardi for that particular job?
When we focused on a good balance between price, features, Yardi showed up very quickly. And then when, of course, we also saw that it's a cloud-based solution, that also helped to make the decision. The fact that it's accessible, that you don't have to be in your office or in your headquarters, but that anyone just having an internet connection can access the data that is important in their role, in their function, is very important to us.
In terms of the sort of Yardi system, how does it help you with the aims that you have for the business and driving that business forward?
What is important for us is that we go through a process of standardization in our organization. We've been lucky to have a nice growth, but it has been somewhat organic. And since we operate in different locations in different areas, with their own specific history, with their own specific documents, with their own specific reporting, it is time to put those all on the same line and on the same canvas, so that for management it's easier to read and to comprehend and to benchmark much quicker and on the same basis, and that we are sure that the data that we're looking at are all real time and are always accurate, so that we don't have to work with Excel sheets that we have to combine and data that might be a bit outdated.
Are there specific plans or specific areas of growth that you've got for the company at the moment?
Our strategy is mainly on retail, so we're always looking for opportunities there. We had the possibility now to start developing a part of our portfolio in Belgium, so we have recently signed a new deal with the European Parliament that we're reconverting one of our buildings into a new education center for them, That's a 21-year deal, so that's very makes us very happy.
In terms of the business, where will the company be in 2 years' time?
Well, in 2 years' time, what we would really like is to finally get to a portfolio size of 1 billion euros. I think that would take us to another level, and that would open up many possibilities to go on from there.
Great. Thank you very much, Sven, for sharing your kind of thoughts and also some insights onto Leasinvest.
Thank you.
Thank you.